Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze is sponsored by Dork Publishing, expanding minds through fantasy since 2018. Learn more at the Dork Publishing website, www.dorcpublishing.com.
I wanna visit all the places nobody goes. I wanna teach all the things that nobody knows. I wanna grow wings, leave the coop, learn to fly. Bungee jump from the tallest building in Dubai. I wanna fly around town in my UFO. I wanna eat real food, not the GMOs. I wanna make moves, call the shots like the boss. I wanna love like I never lost.
Welcome back to Desertwood Days, and today we have a talented guest for you. Let's welcome Mr. Sean McIntosh. Hello there, sir.
Hello.
Good to see you
Good to
today.
see you.
Such a pleasure to have you here.
Absolutely. It's good to be here.
Yes. So, Sean McIntosh,
Yes.
director of photography.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you do a lot more than that out here in our community.
I do. Yeah. I actually started out with acting.
Okay.
Long time ago, late 90s. I was living out here, and I've always been kind of interested in the film industry ever since I was very, very young.
So we're going to start there because I'd like to know that.
All right. I don't know how far back you wanted me to go.
So what was it that inspired you about this fabulous industry?
Well, back when I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of Spielberg movies, and I was just like, it was just like one of those things. It's like, I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T., like all those just amazing films, and so I was like, what, I could do this.
You know what? Excuse me. You kind of look like that type today, the cap on. I'm like, I can see Inspector Gadget. Remember? Oh, am I aging myself?
No, I remember Inspector Gadget. I was not talking about the movie. Like that was, but yeah, no, yep. And so what I did was I would take my Hot Wheels or whatever, car, like miniature cars, and I would make little stop motion films using a little Super 8 camera that my dad had, and move it, click, and made little films that way. And then I didn't think it was going to be like an actual, I could actually do this until I took I saw an ad somewhere where, because I worked at a movie theater at the time. Saw an ad about, hey, take acting classes. I'm like, I'm going to take some acting classes. So I took a little improv class, and I got cast in a golf commercial, and went from there. And then cut to later on when after multiple customer service jobs, which I hated, I went to SCC.
Okay.
And did that program.
Great school.
It is.
Yeah, it's a great program.
And and then my first thing from that was working casting.
Okay.
And I cast.
Important role there.
It is an important role. And I worked out on Universal Picture and cast. Working overnight. 20 something hour days, and from there, then I moved back to LA. After that, and I went from.
Okay. Are you a native of Arizona?
No, I'm not. I was born in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And
so what brought you to Arizona, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't mind. No, I was because I went to SEC, so I have a lot of contacts here. And at the time, I was trying to figure out what to do next with my life, and came back. And my family still lives here. My mom and my brother live here.
Okay.
So I came back here and visited. And did a 48-hour film challenge.
Okay, I remember those days.
Yeah, those are
some fun days.
Those are fun days.
Yes, they were. So you did a 48-hour challenge.
Yeah, and then from that I was like, hey, do you want to work on this? Do you want to work on this? Do you want to work on this?
That's how they hook you.
Okay, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I'm here, might as well. And then I was working on a reality show at the time out of LA, and that got canceled. So now I'm like, I don't have any work back in LA, so might as well stay here.
Oh, and
so
you've been here
ever since. Yeah, it's been like 7 years. I'm trying to do the math right now, but it's been about 7 years.
Okay, so you were a director of photography.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you transition from being that actor to director of photography?
Well, I was doing Grip Electric a lot
Mm.
on reality shows,
Oh,
and then
okay.
I had an awesome DP just give me the camera once. Like, hey, you know what? Just do it. I'll see what you can do. I was like, oh, I like doing camera.
Hmm.
So,
Well, you remember if you go back, you started with your dad's little camera,
hmm
so you were doing it as a little
I was
boy.
doing it as a little boy. So yeah.
Yeah, you know what? And I always I like to go back when I'm talking to people. Go back and listen to what they've said about this is what where they really started. It was
hmm
at a younger age.
Yeah.
I mean, it may have not been the exact same concept, but the same concept.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, yes.
So
So you started being a director of photography.
yeah.
Can you tell me about the first project you worked on as
As a
the
DP.
DP?
Well, I worked on this film called Solus, and I was only there kind of part time, but the
That
director
sounds
wanted me to
familiar.
do. Yeah, it was Tony Severe,
Yes.
and he wanted me to do lighting, and then he was like, again, give me the camera, like, here, see what you can do. So I shot about a third of that, and then he hired me for his next film to see the consequences, and that's when I was like full time. I shot the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then now we're
okay.
working on another project.
Oh, you were all confident then, huh?
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
if
just
you
trying
got the big
to.
boss like Tony Severe saying go ahead and do it, you
Yep, yep, yep. No, no, no. We work well together. So
Yes, he's an awesome guy. I
he's an
worked with
awesome
him
guy.
some years ago.
Hmm
Yes, he's a really awesome guy. And he believed in you. That's a great thing. I mean, when
Yeah,
someone believes in you. I mean, because your resume was small then,
it was.
and
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
that's
Reality
been in the
TV.
industry as long as he had been to
Mm,
trust his project in your hands,
yeah.
your little hands there.
No,
Yes, because that's a
yeah, it
big
is
job
awesome.
as a DP.
Hmm
It's
Yeah,
a big job. We've interviewed other DPs on here, and just the things that you guys are required to do and
hmm
to assess on the project as a whole.
hmm
I mean, that's a big job there.
yeah. I mean, it's how it's what it looks like.
Mm.
Like everything, you could have like completely different DP doing the same film. It'll look
Right,
completely different.
right.
So
It's coming from your
yeah.
eyes.
hmm
Yes. So, as a DP, where do you see yourself, say, in 5 years? I mean, is that
5 years.
something as a filmmaker? Is the DP that top level where
Run
you?
camera.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny. I do like being a DP, and I enjoy directing. I've only
Mm.
directed one film, and that was my first ever thing I did for SCC.
Uh,
But it's fun. I like working with actors. I like and then I also like how it looks. So I mean, yeah, I mean like I like making. It's like it's an art form. I try to make stuff look like a painting.
right.
So like you frame things a certain way, and
Hmm.
you make stuff look a certain way, and that's fascinating to me.
So, as a DP, I'm really curious.
Yes.
So, it's just like a painter. You have an idea, a concept.
Mhm.
Use your terminology.
Mhm.
You have a concept. I mean, do you find yourself, let's say, Tony throws this project at you, and do you find yourself going home just thinking about painting out how you want to see?
Exactly.
Is
That's
that
what
how
we.
is that how it works?
That's how it works, and that's how it worked with this film we're working on now.
Oh, okay.
We still have until November is our last shooting day, and
Are there certain things that you take in consideration, or is that afterwards? I mean, like the music, the genre of the movie. I mean, do
Mhm.
you take all those things into
I
consideration?
do because this one I'm working on now. It's like a psychological horror ghost story.
Oh,
So it's different than the last film I worked on.
mm,
So I lit it different.
oh,
Um, I made it more stylized and just try to make it as scary as possible because
hmm,
it is a ghost story.
that's interesting. So, being a DP, what type of is there a specialized training that you have to do, or is it all here already?
You have to know how to light stuff according to how what the camera sees, And that I got from being a gaffer for a long time. And yeah, it's basically just lighting stuff how you see it, and then shooting it. But then you have to know camera stuff and how to work a camera, and different cameras.
That is so amazing. You know what? Because we all have this. Some of us think that we're not creative, but we all have that in our. It's what we see, how we see things. That's our artistic view of things.
Yeah.
We all have that. I mean, whether it's to the scale of yours or a DP, but we all have that. We look at you guys in awe. So, Sean, we were talking about you being a DP, director of photography, which is an amazing role. And that is something I always say that because, look, I love to Netflix, I love to Prime, go home. Well, I love watching my movies, okay? And, we're watching the movies and we're more focused on the actors and what's happening in the scenes. But since I do what I do, I go back and I'm thinking, oh, look at that. I'm really looking at the details of the movies. And a lot of those details people don't understand. It comes from people like you. You're creating that lighting, that look that they're seeing, that spookiness that may be frightening to them. You guys are creating all of that. So you were talking about how you got into this and the specialized training and being a gaff helped you with that.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned that you have a new film that you're working on right now.
Yeah.
And how you went by visualizing that. And we're talking about, let's say if it was, the genre is something thriller. How would you, what is it that you do? How would you start? How would you even start with that?
Well, okay, so when I was an actor, I would just kind of immerse myself in whatever character I needed to be back. I do the same thing. I do the same thing as a DP. I watched Poltergeist. I watched What Lies Beneath. I watched all these kind of not like Friday the 13th kind of stuff, but more just kind of just scary stuff.
Right.
And then with that in mind, that's when I read through the script again, and then just figured out how can I make this scary? How can I make this just make the audience kind of feel like not complete dread, but just scared. Just
So as a DP, once you've created this, and I'm not trying to get you to give up any of your little private secrets there. I'm writing down over here. But
got my secrets.
Who is it that you rely on the most in your role?
In my role, I rely on the gaffer. Because then it's just, I'm behind the camera, I see what it is, I know what I want to do, and then just have, hey, this is what I want it to look like. And then being a gaffer before, I'm like, oh, I've been in the opposite role. I've done that with other DPs. Okay. So it's like, how do you make this look like this? How do I get that backlight? How do I get that, just kind of soft, awesome contrast on your face? And then they do it. So yeah, I'd say definitely, or whoever's doing gaffer.
I love that because when I'm out and about and working somewhere and my production crew is with me and I hear them over there, Kathy got a little shade on her face or she got this. I'm like, what are they talking about? I ain't got no shade on my face, no. But those are the types of things that you do to make sure that that's not happening in your film.
Yeah. And then, I look at the frame and I'm like, okay, what's here? What's in the background? What's doing this? What does this look like? What kind of wardrobe do these people have? Well, and then we go from there.
Okay. Okay. So you're working on a new project right now. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can tell you a little bit about it. It's called The Darkening Hour, and it's another Tony Severe movie. And it's just a little ghost story, thriller awesomeness that we shot up in Pine Top.
Okay.
For about 10 days.
Wow.
A couple weeks ago, and it's.
So do you feel that you bring something different and unique to this film than you did to the prior film?
Yeah, well, I did do more research on scary films before this one, so so yeah. I mean, but they're completely different films. So it was
Okay.
a whole different mindset going
Um,
on how I wanted it to look.
mhm. Do you have a favorite genre of movie?
I love historical epics.
Oh,
Like with in addition to Spielberg films, you know, I like old school Japanese films like
oh,
from Akira Kurosawa.
hmm.
Seven Samurai is one of my favorite films, and it's just you have to transport the entire cast into something in the past, and that was very poetic. Yeah, it rhymed, but
So, do you ever see yourself working on something like that?
I would love to. That's one of my first films that or screenplays that I did was a western, and so it was
Mm,
just kind of cool to just it's just you have to everything has to look like it does back when you wanted where
right, right. And we do
what
do a
your
lot
thing
of
is.
westerns here in Arizona.
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah,
did it.
yeah.
So I would just be here.
Well,
Oh,
I know
hey,
we
it's
used to.
Arizona.
I don't know if we're doing them as much as we used to here in Arizona,
It's
but
true. I don't.
yeah,
I don't know, but yeah. I mean, there's the scenery. The scenery is here.
of
You
course.
don't have to go far to have some amazing backdrops. But
That's true.
yeah.
As a DP,
Mhm,
times have changed a little bit in a lot of ways.
mhm.
What would you like to see happen here in Arizona in the next 5 years
Next five
in the
years,
film industry?
I would love to see because I know I've heard there's some studios being filmed or being built.
Mm-hmm.
Just to have projects come from these studios like they do, like Warner Brothers or Pinewood or like something in Atlanta, and then or just something coming from here going. This is where it starts.
Mm,
We have studio executives here. We
mm,
have then this is where it begins.
right.
Otherwise, it's just coming in from somewhere else. So that's what I would like to see in
Mm,
the next 5 years. Is just stuff just coming from Arizona
mm,
and hiring from other places
mm.
or locally.
That would be awesome
Yeah,
because that would
have
put
the power to live there.
right. That would put Arizona on the map.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
This is the way New Mexico is.
not the opposite of people passing through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep.
Yes.
Because I know New Mexico has that too. Like stuff
Right.
starts from New Mexico,
Right.
and
Right.
that's right next door.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself in 5 years. That is an excellent question. I would love to have shot a couple more feature films, maybe on a TV show. TV show would be good because
Yes.
the thing about TV shows is they run longer.
Mm-hmm.
So
That is
you
true.
have some employment for a good 10 months out of the year instead
Right. That is
of
true.
one or two.
That is true. I like to also bring up you're also a screenwriter.
I am
For those
screenwriter.
that don't know.
I am. Hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I've done longer than anything else. Before even acting, I almost wrote a novel when I was 12. I was working on it.
You were a busy young man.
I got
weren't
to a
you?
point where I got to a point where I was like, all right, this plot's not going any further. Let's I don't know what to do next. And then when you're 12, your attention span's done. So
So do you foresee continuing or to
absolutely, yeah. I've written.
create one of those projects yourself?
Yep. No, I would love that. I think that might be the next thing after the film I'm working on now. Is I'll brainstorm and trying to find something
So
that I
is
really want to shoot.
either of them historical, the genre that you are passionate about?
So when yeah, because when you're writing a script, like when you do something like that, it automatically raises the budget in your head. You're like, okay,
Mm,
I'm gonna do everything where everybody's gonna be in period
right.
costume. That's gonna add a few $1 million to the budget, and then so
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
that is a big part of
A
it.
very big part of it. Can you tell? Well, your next project is the one that you're working on one right now with Tony
With Tony.
Sevier,
Mhm.
and well, hopefully your next project will be one of A Sean McIntosh.
It might be.
Yes.
It might be.
Are there any other things in the works right now for Sean?
There's many. There's a few things that are going on right now that I'm kicking around with, and we'll see what happens. That's the beautiful thing about it, is because you don't know what's going to happen.
True.
I could get called tomorrow and have to go across the country to work.
That's the beauty of your role.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where can our audience reach you?
Well, like, what do we want here?
Are you on social media?
I am on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on IMDb.
It's under Sean McIntosh.
Under Sean McIntosh. My Instagram is SR McIntosh. It's pretty easy. And that's.
Well, it was a pleasure to have you here, Mr. Sean
R.
McIntosh.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us here today on Desertwood Days, and we'll catch you next time.
Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze was sponsored by Dork Publishing. Visit them at dorkpublishing.com.